declare and decree that Jamaica shall be known for righteousness.
Look where we are coming, to where we are.
It's festival time again. If you're like me, you'll definitely enjoy today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, because we've got the scoop on this year's extended Jamaica Festival season. We also have a cool, wet place for you and your family to beat the heat from this scorching summer sun. All these, plus much more, when we return after this short break. Stay with us.
That can easily change if we allow the cutting of trees, forest fires, animal grazing, crop cultivation, or improper dwellings to destroy our forest reserves. Help preserve Jamaica's flora and fauna. If you know or suspect that someone is hurting our forest reserves, call 1-888-FORESTS. Remember, protecting our forests means sustaining our lives.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith and this is your GIS News for Monday, July 7. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller has called on CARICOM to issue a clear and unified statement on matters relating to small island developing states, climate change and the post-2015 development agenda. She was speaking during the business session of last week's 35th meeting of the CARICOM Heads of Government Conference in Antigua and Barbuda. Mrs. Simpson-Miller said in order to have small island issues incorporated in the global agenda, the region must speak with one voice. The Prime Minister also pledged Jamaica's assistance through technical support to advance issues of regional interest. CARICOM member states, including Jamaica, are now preparing for discussions on the sustainability and unique vulnerabilities of small island developing states at the 3rd International Meeting on SIDS. It's to be held in Samoa later this year. Meanwhile, coming out of the Antigua and Barbuda meeting, CARICOM heads have approved the draft strategic plan for the community. It identifies 8 integrated strategic priorities for the region over the 5-year period 2015 to 2019 and outlines key areas of interventions for each. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica BSJ is undergoing a $6.8 million restructuring, which will see greater collaboration between the entity and the United States Food and Drug Administration, the US FDA. Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton says the BSJ's restructuring from a regulatory and enforcement agency to a service provider is central to helping local enterprises meet the demands of multilateral trading systems. Partner status with the US FDA will allow all Jamaican processed food manufacturers to export to the United States once they have been accredited by the BSJ.
Previously, for those who ship processed foods, you have experienced on many occasions when you ship to the United States that the container in which you ship and the food that you ship is held up for further inspection. With this status, by getting the BSJ approval, the Bureau of Standards of Jamaica's approval, your entrance and access to the US market becomes simpler.
The minister was speaking recently at the Jamaica Exporters Association 2014 Awards Banquet. The country's Information and Communications Technology and Business Process Outsourcing ICT BPO sector has been boosted by a $56 million grant under the Compete Caribbean program. The grant has been allocated through the Business Process Industry Association of Jamaica, which applied for technical assistance support to establish a call center incubator at the Montego Bay Free Zone. An agreement to formalize the project was signed recently between the association and the Inter-American Development Bank, which administers the Compete Caribbean program. Industry Minister Anthony Hilton has welcomed the initiative, saying it fits in with the government's move to further develop Jamaica's ICT BPO sector, which currently employs about 14,000 people.
Not only is the incubator needed, I think it will also spur further development. It will attract further investment in the sector because it is a sector that is fast growing. Jamaica is building its reputation in this area.
Jamaica has made important gains in HIV and AIDS treatment, with 43% of infected persons living longer and more productive lives. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says his ministry is moving to ensure greater efficiency and coverage for affected persons. To that end, he says integration of the National Family Planning Board with the National HIV/STI program is far advanced and will help Jamaica meet the Millennium Development Goal with respect to mother-to-child transmission.
A change management and communication plan was developed to guide the integration. Organizational structure and HR manuals have also been developed and will be submitted for approval before the end of this financial year.
He says drafting instructions have also been forwarded to the Chief Parliamentary Council for amendments to the National Family Planning Board Act. In the meantime, continuation of the HIV response up to mid-2018 is being assured through grant funding of an additional $11 million. That makes a total of $19 million in financing from the international community.
We are in the process of preparing our proposal for the grant to take effect in August 2015, ensuring a continuation of our HIV response to the middle of 2018.
And finally, Jamaica is sending 114 athletes to the 20th Commonwealth Games to be held in Glasgow, Scotland between July 23 and August 3. Speaking at the launch of the island's mission to Scotland, Minister responsible for sport Natalie Nita Headley expressed optimism that Jamaica would again celebrate and be celebrated at the Games. She also thanked the athletes and support staff for their work to prepare for the Commonwealth Games.
We acknowledge with gratitude the contribution of our sport managers, the administrators, coaches and professionals who continue to devote their skills and expertise in the national interest. We are eternally grateful to you.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Measles, mumps, and rubella are potentially dangerous childhood diseases. Parents, ensure your children get the MMR vaccine to protect them. The first shot should be given when children are between 12 and 15 months old, and another before they start school. Women of childbearing age should also ensure they get the MMR vaccine, as they could transmit dangerous conditions to their children if infected while pregnant. To know more, visit your nearest clinic or health center or contact the Ministry of Health.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller joined other Caribbean leaders at the 35th meeting of the Caribbean Community Heads of Government Conference held over 4 days in St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda last week. The outcome of that event, plus other developments from the Office of the Prime Minister, come your way next.
Prime Minister and CARICOM leaders tackle regional issues. Agriculture and Fisheries Ministry takes center stage as Minister responsible for information gives report on cabinet deliberations. And high hopes for Jamaica's team to the 20th Commonwealth Games. Hello, I'm Simone Wolf with Jamaica House Weekly. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller was on official business in the Antigua and Barbudan capital of St. John's last week, representing Jamaica's interests at the 35th Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. Between July 1 and 4, Mrs. Simpson Miller attended several high-level meetings, voicing the island's position on a range of matters, including the economy, climate change, health, and the administration of the regional grouping.
As we continue to discuss the single market and the economy, I think it is very important for us as heads and officials to meet here to discuss issues that impact in a serious way the lives of our people in our region.
Ahead of a business session, Mrs. Simpson Miller commended the government and people of Dominica on the country's decision to make the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, their final court of appeal. She said Dominica's decision was an expression of confidence in the regional court. And as part of expanded cooperation between CARICOM and Spain, Mrs. Simpson Miller committed Jamaica to deepening relations with the European country. The Prime Minister said Spain had made significant contributions to Jamaica's economy, particularly through investments in tourism and health. Mrs. Simpson Miller also reaffirmed Jamaica's solidarity with Cuba. While discussing a strategic plan for CARICOM's growth, development, and collaboration among member states, Prime Minister Simpson Miller called for greater inclusion of the private sector. Mrs. Simpson-Miller reasoned that in order to promote productivity within the region, the private sector had to be allowed to play a central role in research and development, innovation, information and communications technology, and entrepreneurship. Prime Minister Simpson-Miller also called on CARICOM members to issue a clear statement on issues relating to small island developing states, climate change, and the post-2015 development agenda. The Prime Minister left Antigua and Barbuda assured that Jamaica's position in CARICOM remained strong and vital to the country's development. And back at the office, Minister with responsibility for information, Senator Sandra Faulkner, announced cabinet decisions to protect and better manage the fisheries sector. At last week's Jamaica House briefing, Senator Faulkner announced plans to introduce stiffer fines for breaches of the Fisheries Act and an interministerial team to oversee the management of the Patriot Keys. Senator Faulkner said Cabinet gave the go-ahead to increase all monetary penalties and custodial sentences under the Fishing Industry Act. This, she said, would help to curtail a number of problems facing the industry.
Currently, fines for breaches range from $20 to $5,000, with many paying scant regard to the provisions under the Act.
Meanwhile, Portfolio Minister Roger Clark will chair an interministerial committee to create a management regime for the Pedro Keys. The team was created to follow up on the findings of a socio-economic survey and carrying capacity study done on the Pedro, Northeast and Middle Keys. With the ministry allocating $34.5 million for the management of the Keys, the interministerial team will consider a number of concerns.
Issues of unlicensed fishers, the lack of adequate infrastructure, including human and solid waste management, and the generally deplorable conditions on the Keys have been among the problems affecting the fragile ecosystem.
Senator Faulkner also announced that a contract had been signed to install pump houses at 2 agri-parks. Cabinet approved a $72.9 million contract for the installation of pumps and pump houses at the Ebony Park and Spring Plain agri-parks. It was announced last week that the late Custos and Member of Parliament for Northeast Westmoreland, James Thompson, had been accorded an official funeral. It will be held this Wednesday at the St. George's Church in Savannah, Lamar, with interment at the Holy Trinity Church at Grange Hill, Westmoreland. In a statement, Prime Minister Simpson-Miller said Jamaica had lost one of its most loyal public servants, as Thompson had provided yeoman service to the people and parish of Westmoreland. A 114-member team will represent Jamaica at the 20th staging of the Commonwealth Games to be held in Glasgow, Scotland between July 23 and August 3.
The team is the largest ever and arguably the strongest, and therefore our expectations and hopes are great.
Minister with responsibility for sport, Natalie Nita Headley, also congratulated the athletes as well as sports administrators who devote their skills in the national interest.
We are ready to march into Glasgow, strong, proud, carrying the flag of Jamaican land we love.
And Mrs. Nita Headley was on hand Thursday to launch the Badminton World Federation special pilot project, Shuttle Time.
With the introduction of this Shuttle Time program, I am expecting a new level of excitement for badminton to be ignited at this time. I am confident also that this program will make badminton even more accessible to many more Jamaicans, young and old.
That's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest happenings coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Equality, equal rights and justice for women and men in our society. Spread the word to the nation, promoting equality.
The thing to fear star.
Equal value, equal rights. Know it, believe it, live it. It's time for us to get it right. Equal rights and justice
For our men and women.
Equality.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
In the Bible long time ago, there was a woman who was sick to the bone. She get a touch from the healer man. From that day, said the woman gets strong. One touch.
So it no matter if you're black or you're white.
One touch.
It no matter if you're fat or you're thin.
One touch.
You live a year, they live off a ring. Open up your...
We'll be jamming all month long leading up to the Emancipendence period. What can you expect? Beer excitement and enough niceness.
So one of the things we've done is we've redesigned the program so that it reflects more diversity in the kinds of activities that happen. We're moving away from just the celebratory events and just having fun during Independence Time. This year, we wanted to say to the world, this is Jamaican cultural and creativity. We want to showcase all the things that we can produce because we want to create sustainable markets for our cultural and creative people. At the end of the day, we want to be able to go out into the world, get films made, book television sitcoms, get books sold, fashion bought, culinary reflected in hotel circuits across the world. So this is our opportunity to say, this is Jamaica, my Jamaica.
So we are real born Jamaicans. Look, this a beautiful island. Real born Jamaicans.
Did you enjoy that preview of Festival 2014? I sure did. But that's not all, you know. There is film, TV, and literary festival for those of us who love to hear our Jamaican stories.
When we looked at what is being demanded mostly globally and what are the things that we think we're doing so well in, but we're just not showcasing it enough, we decided on a number of new things. CPTC is doing the Anti-Roche Festival, the film and television aspect. There's also a literary aspect, so our poet laureate is going to be a big feature of that event. We're reintroducing the culinary aspect, but this year we're focusing on culinary institutions and high school students. So it's the Dutchy culinary, and everybody knows the Dutch pot in Jamaica and what that represents. We're also bringing in our Heart of Ska Festival. Ska, born and grown in Jamaica, and it is so huge around the world, yet you don't hear so much about it here. We also are introducing a family day. We're the Ministry of Children and of Youth, and we talk a lot about parenting, but we think families are at the core of how we fix things in Jamaica. And so we want a day where everybody, if your family in Portland and you in the Grill and some in Clarendon, come together. How often do we meet as family and spend the day to say we love each other?
Sometimes people try to come into the yard. That is not family.
The Anti-Roche Film Festival serves as a development platform for Jamaica's aspiring filmmakers. Now, following a call for scripts, 10 finalists will be selected on the strength of their film concepts and potential market value. Anti-Roche Film Festival finalists will then attend a workshop designed to hone their screenwriting skills. Now, this is a very important aspect of the festival, as our objective is to prepare a cadre of writers whose films are ready not just for the local market, but for the global space as well. Think about it. When our local films give pride of place to positive Jamaican stories, it celebrates our heritage and reinforces our culture. This is important, especially to give our youth a sense of identity and self-pride.
It keeps our bodies working, our food nutritious, our living and working spaces clean, and our lives comfortable. Water, the most precious resource necessary for the sustenance of life on our planet. Don't waste it. Let's conserve on this critical commodity. In the house, invest in storage containers and buckets. Take quick showers instead of long baths, and invest in water-efficient shower heads, toilets, and faucets. You may also want to consider one-pot meals and cooking methods that don't require much water. You could also wash fruits and vegetables in a bowl and reuse the water on your plants or grass. When cleaning dishes, fill both sinks and use one for washing and the other for rinsing. The leftover water can be used to wash off the concrete or asphalt in your yard. If you must wash your car at home, aim for once a fortnight and use a bucket to do the washing instead of running the hose. Don't delay. Start your water conservation practices today.
Last week, the minister responsible for water gave an update on the severe drought being experienced in the country. He announced restrictions and warned that persons would be fined for doing things like filling swimming pools. But that shouldn't dampen your efforts to stay cool. There's a place you can go where the water is just the right temperature.
The Urban Development Corporation, in association with the Jamaica Information Service, presents UrbanScope.
It's no secret that Portland is one of the most beautiful parishes in Jamaica. Perfect for the nature lover who yearns to relax and unwind in a pristine environment. A string of beautiful beaches and falls are to be found in the picturesque parish. One of these is Reach Falls, which has been operated by the Urban Development Corporation, the UDC, since 2007.
Welcome to Reach Falls!
The falls is situated on the Drivers River, approximately 33 kilometers east of Portland's capital, Port Antonio. There are several interesting stories surrounding the origin of the name Reach Falls. Some have claimed that it was named Reach, spelled R-E-I-C-H, after the previous German owners, while others have claimed that the falls derived the name from the triumphant shout of slaves, "We reach! We reach!" when they obtained freedom. Some say it was named after the Reach district. Regardless of how the name is spelled or derived, one thing is certain: visitors can look forward to a memorable experience when they visit the falls. The 4.6-hectare property boasts tremendous natural beauty, a peaceful atmosphere, an engaging waterfall, significant biodiversity, and an ecological sanctuary. Prepare to embark on an adventure. Enjoy the cascading falls, explore the astounding underwater cave, and swim in the heart-shaped jacuzzi, which is naturally formed. The water is crystal clear and the scenery spectacular. But wait, there is more.
In addition to the falls, our guests can look forward to our nature trail upstream, as well as our relaxing picnic area. As it relates to the nature trail, it's a tour of about 30 to 45 minutes, and our guests enjoy the glistening waters of the Drivers River, the lush greenery of the forest environment, or the sound of exotic birds chirping away. The nature trail ends in our underwater cave, which is a spectacle in itself. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
This breathtaking attraction is the ideal venue for several activities.
If you're planning an outdoor event, then Reach Falls would be the ideal location. We are able to host events such as birthday parties, anniversary parties. We can also accommodate business meetings and even weddings.
Those who have visited the attraction agree that it is a trip well worth the while.
Reach Falls was amazing. We brought our whole family, age 5 to age 8, and everyone was able to do it because we had this incredible guide, Canton, who took us up. And my youngest is not a strong swimmer yet, and he made sure that she got through every little spot, and the kids had just an amazing time.
I had a lot of fun. There was hiking, and there was also some swimming. We got to go under a waterfall, and it was just a lot of fun.
Reach Falls was just beautiful. Really amazing wonder of the world. It's just the water is so blue, everything's so clean. It's such an adventure. Our children just loved it. It was really wonderful.
Reach Falls is open to visitors Wednesdays to Sundays and on public holidays from 8:30 to 4:30 at the affordable cost of $300 for Jamaican residents over the age of 12 and $150 for Jamaican children between the ages of 4 and 12. For non-resident visitors, the cost is $10 for those over 12 years and $5 for those aged 4 to 12 years. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen in Jamaica's attraction sector. For further information on the development projects being carried out by the UDC, you may contact them by calling 922-831-024 or visit their website at www.udcja.com. You can also visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
UrbanScope was brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation in association with the Jamaica Information Service.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Are you interested in authentic Jamaican sounds? Well, you can fill your ears with the melodious notes of one of our homegrown art forms during Festival 2014.
At the heart of Ska Festival, we'll do two things. The first thing, it will help Jamaicans to recognize how important this genre was to the world. The Scatolites celebrate 50 years this year, and this is one of the groups that just propelled Jamaican music into Europe and the United States. It still exists. There are hundreds of Ska festivals happening, but none happening in Jamaica. They try to duplicate the genre, but because it's ours, they never quite get it right. And this year we want to say to the world, look, this is the heart of Ska. Ska is a lifestyle. It's how you dress. It's how you dance. It's something that has influenced some of the greatest artists in the world. And we want Jamaican people to see that this is something that we generated and that the world loves and that we have to maintain. And so we're bringing groups also from overseas who are more than happy to come to the home of Ska and be a part of it. The Live Music Tuesdays that we're generating in July, we will be teaching those live bands across Jamaica about Ska, the syncopation and all of that. And so we'll be picking the best groups and showcasing them on the show.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
How could we tell you about Jamaica Festival without mentioning Grand Gala? Here's your personal invite.
When I was a child, independence was all around. You had to wear the fashion. Even if you were the little baby to the adult, you just had to be wearing whatever festival fashion was saying or nothing was going on for you. There were a lot of street activity. There was music, the gala. We had the Festival Queen competition. Everywhere there was something that you could attend in a parish or you could do on your own, which said, this is Jamaica Festival, and you all felt like you were a part of it. And that's one of the things that we want to recreate this year. Every single person, we want to say that I was a part of celebrating Jamaica. And being independent, we take it lightly, you know, but being independent is absolutely no joke. And being able as citizens of Jamaica to have a say in how we grow, have some input in who we are. And so this year we're putting on activities that every single person can enjoy, can be a part of. We want you to come out in your national colors with a tupsa white. And because this year we're thinking about purity, we're thinking about innocence. We're talking about children, we're introducing white into it. So put on your national colors, not yellow, gold, tupsa white, and just come out and say, look, this is Jamaica, my Jamaica, and celebrate Jamaica Festival. I'm looking for every single one I know.
And that's our show. Be sure to go out and attend events on the festival schedule. Who knows, you could learn a thing or two about our culture. Tune in to Jamaica Magazine on Mondays, Thursdays and Saturdays on this station for the latest on Festival 2014. Our website, gis.gov.jm, also has information for your edification. Have comments or queries? Email us. Jamaica Magazine at gis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, inviting you to celebrate Jamaica.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.